Hey guys, and welcome back to another Animal Crossing video. I'm Crossing Channel, and today we'll be going over 10 facts about villages that we're hoping you didn't know. Animal Crossing has such a diverse amount of villages with their own secrets just waiting to be discovered, so we're going to dive deeper into some fun facts about these characters. If you're excited for this video, be sure to leave a like to show support, and let's get into this. Fact number 1. Audi. Believe it or not, Audi might actually be named after a very iconic fan of the series. In recent years, a grandma and her grandson came forward to share that she had played Animal Crossing New Leaf for thousands of hours, which is an impressive feat in itself, but given her age, it seemed quite unexpected. Of course, this grandma's name is Audi, and she's pretty much adored by the entire Animal Crossing community. It seems very likely that someone from Nintendo saw this, as it did go viral, and decided to localize the name of this new wolf to match the grandma. We obviously can't say for certain unless Nintendo directly confirms it, but I think it's pretty safe to assume this is the case, and it's certainly really nice to think about too. If anyone deserves to have an Animal Crossing character named after them, it's definitely Audi, and it's really cute to see. Number 2. Chops. Although I hate to bring him up in this video as he's my least favourite character in the entire game, Chops has a hidden detail about him that many don't know. You might think by his design that he's an 18th century aristocrat just waiting to burn down an orphanage, but he's actually based on a nutcracker. This is very fitting as his mere presence does drive me nuts. Though this fact doesn't make me like him anymore, it's still kind of cool, and nutcrackers have always been an iconic part of Christmas for me, so it does make his design a bit more appealing. He also kind of looks like a World War I soldier, but I think the nutcracker is the most obvious thing that relates to Chops. So whether this makes you like him more or not, for me, I'm still kind of stuck in the anti-Chops zone. Number 3. Cube. Although it's hard to tell in New Horizons, Cube was in a way a game mascot for the Nintendo GameCube. Animal Crossing made its American and European debut on the GameCube, which means this version included some snazzy GameCube themed items. This included the GameCube shirt, something that Cube wore in the original game. Sadly, his shirt changed as the years went by, so this reference is somewhat lost to time. Still, it's kinda cool to think about how he was developed and changed throughout the years, and how he basically used to be a mascot for the GameCube game. Number 4. Dell. Though he may appear like a regular alligator at a glance, Dell isn't an animal at all. He's actually mechanical. In previous games, it was generally assumed that he was made of plastic, but with the graphical improvements of New Horizons, it's made it clearer that him being mechanical was the intention all along. Dell is somewhat themed after a battleship, with little windows at the side of his face. He's one of the few characters in the series that isn't a real animal, which makes him much more interesting amongst the rest. It's really cool to see these characters who aren't actually animals in a game literally all about animals, so he's a little bit suspicious like that, but I like it. Now, for our next 2 entries, we'll be joined by an incredible Animal Crossing YouTuber and a friend of mine, Krisselia. Take it away.
Hello everyone, I'm Krisselia. I'm really happy Crossing Channel and I have finally decided to do something together. My channel will be in the description below if you'd like to see any of the things that I get up to in New Horizons. Number 5. Dell isn't the only villager with buoyancy built in though. Hopkins the rabbit has his own secret way of floating because he's actually not a rabbit at all. He's an inflatable. On the back of his head you can find a closed air hole very much like the ones you'd see on pool floaties and party decorations. Also, his pocket camp quote states that he's full of hot air and that if he wasn't properly moored to the ground, a light breeze could blow him away. Does this imply he has weights in his feet as well? Number 6. Other animals that are in the not really an animal category are Ribbit and Sprocket, who you probably have guessed are actually robots. The particularly interesting thing about these guys is that they have numbers printed on the backs of their heads. Ribbit has a 59 and Sprocket has 04. Because they're robots, this isn't that unusual, as it could be a reference to them being mass-produced, meaning that there are more Ribbits and Sprockets out there. Or maybe it's that it took 59 attempts to make Ribbit perfect and only 4 for Sprocket. You decide.
Number 7. Octavian. In Japanese pop culture, octopuses are commonly used to represent aliens. This would explain why his house is space themed and even why he wears a star shirt. This wouldn't be the only Nintendo game with such a reference. For example, Mario Odyssey recently had scary octopuses on the moon. Octavian is definitely one of the cooler characters in the series, especially since he's one of the only 4 octopus villagers in the entire games, one of which has actually been removed from the games, which would be Inkwell. Number 8, Jacob. I did some research and it seems like Jacob the bird is the only villager in the entire game who has a different name in the PAL versions of the games. In my version here in the United Kingdom, he's called Jakey, and his name is printed like this on his amiibo card too. It's a very strange discrepancy, and I'm honestly not sure why they did this, but it was an interesting little detail that I wanted to point out in this video. I guess Jakey is like his cool nickname or something, I don't know, but this is a change that they've made in my region, so hopefully for you players in other parts of the world, you might not have known this one. Number 9, Victoria. Victoria is the only horse villager in the game who is a racehorse, her name likely originating from the Victoria Derby or the famous racehorse named Victoria Park. In Animal Crossing E+, the game she was introduced in, she even wore a racer shirt to symbolize this. Her designs remained the same since Wild World however, and I've gotta say I prefer her current consistent yellow look. It works well for the character and she definitely has a good design. Maybe she's put her racing days behind her, only Victoria knows the answer. Now, let's go over 2 fun bonus facts. Bonus fact, Caesar has the strangest and best portrait in the game, and I honestly don't know how I've never seen this before. It's just so bizarre, but it's also so perfect at the same time. Another bonus fact is that Stinky is the only character who doesn't wear a t-shirt in his portrait photo. This is really weird, but I guess it has something to do with the fact that he's a wrestler. I mean, it makes sense, but I wanted to point it out either way. Number 10, Sid. Sid the elephant is a new character and basically as punk as you can get in the world of Animal Crossing. So much so that his Japanese name is literally Punks. The fun fact about his English name is that it's likely a reference to Sid Vicious, a leading member of the late 70s punk movement. Like all of the new characters introduced in New Horizons, he's the only one of his species with his personality type, meaning he's the only cranky elephant in the game. This is fairly fitting for his punk attitude, and he's definitely a cool new character that I personally feel is quite underrated. I'd love for you guys to tell me in the comment section down below how you feel about Sid, and whether you like this character and his whole punk aesthetic or not. We hope you guys enjoyed these 10 fun facts about Animal Crossing villagers. There are so many interesting characters in the games, and I hope you've learned something new about some of the best and most creative characters in all of gaming. I hope you'll join me for another Animal Crossing video soon. I want to give a big thanks to the channel members for supporting the content I make here. If you want to become a channel member and get a whole bunch of cool perks, click the join button down below the video or click the link in the description to learn more. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like to show your support. You can also subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure to turn on channel notifications to get notified when I put up new videos.